Yep. So my name is Juan Chavez. I'm originally from New York. Been in Medellin for about 16 years already. Have two businesses, two main businesses. One is an e-commerce in the automotive industry, which is called JMC Automotive Equipment. Six-time Inc. 5000 company, eight-figure company. And the other one is called Medellin VIP, which is a luxury VIP and concierge service, which we host groups in Medellin and Cartagena.
Amazing. And so you just mentioned you've been in Medellin for 16 years.
16 years.
16 years.
Yeah,
I didn't
since
misunderstand.
2009.
So 16 years is basically like the OG days.
OG.
Because most of the people in our group, there's a few guys that, like George and some others who've been here for 10 years and 5 years even is kind of like considered OG now, I guess.
Yep.
But you've been here for 16 years. So
16 years.
I want to hear what was that like when you first came here 16 years ago, and how is that different to what it is like today?
So when we first got here, I came here with my best friend, business partner at the time. There was no Americans here. The only Americans that were here were like 65, 70-year-olds, like retirees that were just living here. So we were the only young Americans that were living here at the time. And it was completely different from what you find now, right? The few Americans that would come here would just come here and go crazy, party all the time. So actually, when I first met you, I told you, like, I kind of started staying away from that type of crowd because I didn't want to lose focus on what I was doing.
The foreigner crowd.
The foreigner crowd, yeah. Like, because it was just too many people just wanting to come here and just go crazy, right? Obviously, for obvious reasons. But yeah, so I kind of started staying away from them for a while, and then kind of just started focusing on what I was doing, which it was business, being fitness. I was big into martial arts back then, family and all these things, and then kind of just focus on that. And nowadays, obviously, like back then, you would never find something like the Entrepreneur House, which is something amazing, right? Like you would, now it's just like, went through the Entrepreneur House, for example, like I met a lot of high quality people, high entrepreneurs. I learned from them. Unfortunately, like, we haven't made any business because all my business is in the States. However, the value that you get from meeting people, like in the inspirational value of like, them teaching you what they know, seeing what they have accomplished, and then they gives you a little bit more of like inspiration that, hey, maybe I can accomplish that too.
Yeah, absolutely. So since then, 16 years ago, there was no foreigners. Now today, there's a lot of foreigners.
Everywhere you go, like half of the time, like I say, oh, it's another American,
Yeah. So what was your journey in business? You have the two companies now.
Yep.
Right. How long have you had both of those companies? How long have you been running those?
JMC Equipment, I started in 2011. So in Medellin VIP, I started, I think, officially 2015, but unofficially 2011, 2012 also.
Okay.
Yep.
And by the way, congratulations. You just got the top 100, what was it, tourist companies in the world?
Yeah, tourism companies in the world.
Yeah, so congratulations. That's a huge accomplishment.
Yeah, I forgot to mention that part.
Anyone who's listening to this, member or non-member, reach out to Juan if you have a group, you want to come down to Medellin, you want to have the VIP all access experience. I've worked with you guys. We actually just did our last mastermind. We had like an amazing mansion. We got through you guys. You guys helped with a lot of the transport, a bunch of the things, and just made everything so much easier. Mm-hmm. So just want to give a huge plug. If anyone wants to find that, where can they get in
Our
touch?
website is medellinvip.net. We also do Cartagena, which is cartagenavip.net.
Okay.
And our Instagram account is medellinvip, and Cartagena VIP as well.
Okay. So you started those like 2011, I think you said 2010, 2011?
Yep.
So what was that your first entrepreneurial like business or venture? Or tell me more, like how did you become to where you are today?
So my journey basically is when I first got here in 2009, I came here with my business partner and we opened up a call center, right?
Okay.
And we were 26 at the time, 27, first business. Obviously we came here to Medellin. Also went a little crazy with the partying and everything too, but that's not the reason the business went, fell through. The reason it fell through is because the government had changed laws for the product or service we were selling, and we couldn't make as much money as we initially intended to, right? So we after a year and a half of 2 years of having that initial business, it kind of we shut it down. And we started doing whatever we could to make money and to stay here, right? I was teaching martial arts, selling whatever I could at the time, virtually over the phone. And then finally, I opened up JMC Equipment. the way I opened it up is because my father sells automotive equipment in New York, right? He he goes door to door to sell it. So he has a big pool of clients in New York, right? One day I get on the phone with him and I'm like, hey, how's the business going? He's like, yeah, it's good. And I ask him like, hey, how many people can you visit a day? He tells me like 10 to 12 max. And I'm like, hey, why don't you start an e-commerce business or an e-commerce website where you can actually sell the equipment? So instead of you only visiting 10 to 12 people, thousands of people can visit you a day. He was like, you know what? That's never going to work. Forget about that. I'm like, you know what? Let me try it. I was broke at the time. I told him like, hey, let me borrow $500. $500 wasn't for the website. It was actually for me to like just live for another week or so. Let me borrow $500 and let me help you open up this website. Open up the website, put some products that he had up there, started doing a little bit of SEO, a little bit of digital marketing, because I was also learning how to do that. And 2 to 3 months later, after we opened up the website, we had our first sale for a $4,000 4-post lift, which is one of the products that we carry. And I was like, wow, this is actually working. So I went all in the website and started calling manufacturers that for in the automotive industry. A lot of them said no to me in the beginning because they didn't know who we were. They didn't know JMC. They didn't know who Juan Chavez was either. But we kept on going, right? Like we kept on doing digital marketing, a lot of SEO, a lot of paid advertising. And little by little, our name got around in in automotive repair shops, in the automotive industry. We became part of the SEMA organization, which is the largest automotive organization in the United States. So that made our name into a brand in the automotive world. So and then it literally little by little started more and more sales started coming in. Somehow we became an Inc. 5000 company. 6 years in a row. And yeah, like it's been a crazy but fulfilling journey, to be honest with you.
Yeah, it's so amazing. And you're really like an inspiration. I remember when we first met, you were telling me you're training for an Ironman.
Yep.
Right. Which you've done. I think you've done more. You've done like multiple, right?
I've done 3 Ironman 70.3s.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. So those are like, for anyone who doesn't know, an Ironman is like swim, bike, and
swim,
run.
bike, run. Yep.
Right. Which is all and it's all together, like in one day.
Yeah. Nonstop. No breaks, no nothing.
So you'll have a routine. I don't know if you still do this, but you'll wake up early, like, I don't know, 5 a.m. or something crazy.
Yeah. So I was waking up when I was training because this year I kind of decided to take a couple of months off. But now my coach is telling me like, hey, we got to get back into it because I told him, I made a promise to him and to myself, especially, that next year we're going to do a full Ironman. But the 70.3s, we would for when I was training for it, I would wake up at 4:30 in the morning, do swimming or biking or running from 6 to 7, get ready to go to work like around 8 o'clock, finish around 5:30, 6 o'clock, do a little bit of weight training or maybe some also a little bit more training, whether it's swimming, bike, or run, go home, take care of the kids, put them to bed, and knock out.
Yes. Yeah. You're just like the discipline that I saw when I met you. I was like, wow, this guy's really like, he's got it locked in, which is really inspirational. And those are the kind of people that we really like to have in the community because it's not like you were saying, the foreigners here, right? You wanted to stay away from because there is that stereotype, which still exists. And it's also true to a degree for some people. But as you were kind of saying, I guess I could just ask you, what has that experience been like before we met and you got introduced to, the Entrepreneur House? What has that been like before? And then, now being part of it for, I think it's been a year.
Roughly.
About that been part of it. Obviously, you haven't been able to make every event and meet every single member in the group, but for those experiences and the members and the people you've connected with through the Entrepreneur House, like how has that been before and after experience for you?
Well, before I met you, right? Like I only had like a very small pool of American friends that I would just hang out with, right? For the most part, I would hang out with like Colombian friends, obviously I'm married, so like, we have a lot of couple friends, and I would do that, do those type of events. After I met you, and I remember telling you like, hey, you actually said, how come I never heard of you? Because I try to stay away from that community. And then, but I think right before I met you, I was like, you know what? I think it's time for me to start meeting more Americans, more entrepreneurs, but high end, high active, entrepreneurs. And that's where you came in. And the people that I met, like I said, are very, very sharp, right? They all have very successful businesses. They're all healthy. They're all active. They're all into fitness. So that's, like, again, it's the type of people that I want to be around. And yeah, like that's, like you're bringing a lot of value to all of us that are living here in Medellin, and now you're expanding to other cities, which is awesome, right? So like, for example, you mentioned yesterday Brazil, and I forgot what other cities or what other countries. So like, hey, if I ever want to go to Brazil, I know that I'll be connected, very well connected, if once you open up that branch.
Absolutely. Yeah. The long-term vision is, having all these locations that are nomad hubs, like Medellin, Rio, obviously Mexico City, Panama City, Argentina, and then eventually Europe and Asia. Right now, we're really focused on Medellin and soon Bogota, just to really hone in on these areas, because we're still overcoming that stereotype, right?
Of course.
I'm meeting people all the time. They're very skeptical. They're like, I'm a high level entrepreneur. I don't know if I want to go to this event, right? And so it's still building that reputation, kind of like what you were saying with JMC at first. You're calling these people and they're like, oh, I don't know who you are. I don't trust you. I don't think it's worth it or whatever, right? So we're still very, very new. It's been 1 year, just over 1 year at this point.
I mean, the same thing happens with my tourism company, with Medellin VIP, right? A lot of people don't want to come here because of that stereotype.
Yes.
But the vision, or one of the missions that we have for Medellin VIP, is to change that stereotype, and so they can see the beauty of Medellin and why people are living here like you and I, right? Because we're here because obviously it's a beautiful city, has a lot of culture, the people are beautiful, and then there's a lot to see and there's a lot to do, right? So I want them to see that, and I'm sure you're trying to do the same thing.
Yes. Yeah, no, it's true. The perception to the reality is just there's a disconnect with Medellin.
Correct.
And yeah, so anyone listening to this that is a member in the group, what is something that they can reach out to you for, and you'd be able to help provide some value, share advice, mentorship?
I'm very big into leadership, right? Like how to create a good culture with your team that you have, how to create leaders out of the people that you're working with, right? Because at the end of the day, we're all about growth, right? I think in Entrepreneur House, we're all about growth, continuous growth. That's actually one of our core values for our company. But leadership, how to achieve the big insane dreams that somebody has. I'm actually trying to build a system, a simplified system on how to do that through a vision, core values, and the day-to-day actions that you have to do. Very big into sales, how to simplify the sales system that you have. That way it's easy for someone to understand, right? I mean, all of us in entrepreneur, everyone that I met is an extremely good salesperson, right? Now to teach that to somebody new is a little bit difficult, right? Especially here, for example, I use a lot of Colombian talent, right? And of course, everyone that I hire has to speak English. So the pool of people that speak English is not that big, right? So half of the time I end up hiring somebody that speaks English but may not have sales experience. So I have to come in and kind of teach them from scratch how to sell, how to speak, how to communicate, how to use the right tone of voice, the tonality, the different stages of sales, how to create emotion when it comes to sales. So like, it's been obviously an ongoing process, but that's something I could bring to the table, right? So leadership, sales, like those are the two main things that I would focus on.
Amazing. And anyone who wants to connect, who is a member, you can reach out to me, your community manager, or the directory, and reach out to Juan, connect with him, talk leadership, talk sales. Now, for anyone watching this who is not inside the group and is thinking about, becoming a member, maybe they've seen some of the videos, testimonials, whatever, and they're curious, what would you say to someone who's interested in watching this right now, in joining the community? What would you say to them?
What are you waiting for? I mean, at the end of the day, I think you said yesterday, there's 90 members now, right? And it's only been a year. So it's going to continue growing. Everyone that I met is extremely valuable. They have taught me something, right? And then apart from teaching me something, they also inspire me to do better. Because like I thought, like not to brag, but I'm pretty successful, right? But everyone that I meet is just like, wow, they're even more successful in whatever area they're doing or whatever industry. So it's just like whenever you have those people around you, you just want to do better. Right. And for everything that you're doing, opening up the different branches in the different cities, right? And especially if you're a nomad, like an entrepreneur that's traveling all over the place, this is something that you want to do. Like just yesterday, for example, I got some great, like just through conversation, I got some great ideas. I'm like, oh, I could do that with my business, right? Because everyone's in different industries, right? Whenever you go to a mastermind, I feel like, yeah, most of the time, they're in one industry. But in your mastermind, Entrepreneur House, everyone is in different industries. So you get ideas from what people are doing in different industries, and you can bring that to your industry, which I think is awesome, which is what I've done also with the different businesses that I've done, because I'm on e-commerce, automotive, and tourism, right? So whatever I'm learning from tourism, I'm using in the automotive, and whatever I'm using from automotive, I'm using in tourism. So it's just like, we're doing things, innovating things that I never thought possible, and bringing more clientele in, and then making more sales and bringing a different type of customer service, a different type of experience for our clientele, right? So for people that are waiting, that are looking to join Entrepreneur House, know that there's a lot of value to learn from the members in the group and the people that you meet. And I mean, obviously, like in the beginning, it's probably just going to be maybe transactional for some people, but in the long run, you're going to create friendships, if not family members, or a small type of brotherhood, if you want to call it that as well, which is awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Juan, thank you so much. Where can people, in addition to the VIP tourism company, where can people connect with you on social?
So my Instagram handle is jchavez1898. That's probably the easiest way to find my personal Instagram.
Well, thank you so much. It's been an honor and pleasure to have you part of the community.
Well, Thomas, no, thank you for having me, and thank you for inviting me to the community as well.
Absolutely.